There we go. Good evening, friends. How are we? Clean up my workspace here. Give you guys a few minutes. Let's see what I got behind me here. Make sure you guys can see exactly what's going on. So, welcome to Paranormal Witchcraft Laboratory Experiments using containment over chaos, evidence over egos, and then we will turn around and do another one using escalation investigation techniques. We do have a freshly charged battery today. All right, here we go. Get that guy started. Okay, so welcome back to Paranormal Witchcraft LLC. And unfortunately, Chris, I accidentally deleted our Patreon earlier. It was processing and it said something about posting, and I thought it meant it was going to post it to social media, and I didn't want to do that. So I hit no, it deleted the whole thing. Well, now we know for next week. So if you've been to Patreon, okay, whoever saw it, and then I accidentally deleted it, it is what it is. Kind of figured that's going to be what was going to happen today. I was going to mess something up the first time. It is what it is. So nonetheless, let's get started. So welcome to Paranormal Witchcraft LLC. I am Tobias Josephson, and we are Paranormal Witchcraft. This is where we, as a team, and other members and affiliates and friends like Chris, Truth Tarot Readings, and others, Chuck Avarat, come and we talk about the responsibility and we ask the hard questions to the paranormal field. Why do other investigators not want to use containment over chaos? All right. The answer is a lot more simpler than people think. Money. Okay. So, good evening. It's been a hell of a day for me. I've had multiple conference calls as things are starting to ramp up for us. And no, I'm not kidding. There's a reason why I'm not around much on social media, because I'm running around like a chicken behind the scenes, taking conference calls, messaging people, talking to people, etc., etc., etc. And so that being said, somewhere closer to Ostara, probably even closer to Christian Orthodox Easter, I will be taking a 7-day break. So that way I can keep my mental and my emotional health and my energies, I can let them recharge. What happened back in May is I fizzled out running 2 groups, all right, and then essentially turning one into a business pretty much single-handedly wiped me out. All right, I made it about 6-7 weeks, 20 hours a day, and then I fell flat on my face for 3 months. All right. Now, I've done similar things in the Brotherhood, but that's for another channel. I might actually create a channel just for the Brotherhood of Male Witches, Chuck. Don't know what the group feels about that because I'm restricted. So once I'm done being restricted on Monday for sharing this channel, I'll make a post and we'll start feeling them out. If I knew that I had enough people in the Brotherhood that would actually join us, like I know Chuck and I know Steve, I know a few other members there would love to subscribe to a YouTube channel just for the Brotherhood, but that's only like 3 or 4 people. I would still need 46 others. That's where the problem comes in. That's why I'm going through the membership person by person by person, etc. All right, not people like Chuck and others who are engaging, but I'm looking for the people who joined the group there and then never said hi, never said boo, never did anything. All right, that's where we started. I've gone through and I've cut down about 300 people from 5 years ago. That's where I started, 6 years ago, whatever it was. And so the idea is by the end of 2027, we will have a more serious, more respectable following in that group. And what I'm doing is just taking care of seeing things that pop up in silence. That way it doesn't aggravate any of the other members. So with that being said, it's something I've been toying around in my head for a couple weeks. So we will start over Welcome to Paranormal Laboratory Experiment number 4, 8 p.m. live stream, only right here on Paranormal Witchcraft LLC YouTube channel. Title of this is the REM-Pod Device Dependency Test. This morning we asked the question and we planted a theory. What if, or no, it wasn't what if, it was why are so many investigators so dependent on device evidence capturing? All right, and so the title of this one is the REM-Pod Device Dependency Test. Are investigators triggering their own evidence by triggering all their devices? Remember, one of the last things I said last night with those experiments is what? Every device almost that we use can be affected by us and the environment around us. So tonight, we're not just investigating the paranormal. We are investigating the investigation process itself. Because something strange has happened in modern paranormal research and investigations. The tools that were meant to help us and be just what they are, is just freaking tools, have now all of a sudden shifted from, like Chuck said this morning, hundreds of years ago, we didn't have any of this shit. Or about 100 years ago. It's been about, I would say in the last 50 years, this field has grown and then completely twisted itself. The tools that were meant to help us detect the activity that we've discovered in the last 50 years or so may actually be shaping the activity we see every single day, that people say they're discovering, that people say are demonic, that people say in their thumbnails is dark. All right. We don't have any really stance on that. Is probably the best way to say that. We're not really here to call anyone out, etc., etc. Our framework won't be for everybody. Type lab in the chat if you've ever seen a REM pod trigger during an investigation. Most of us here should be saying yes, but if not, if on the off chance you don't even know what a REM pod is, that's okay too. So type lab in the chat if you've ever seen a REM pod go off. Chris says lab. Chris says yes. It's ourselves, not the tools. Very good, Chris. Chuck Avarat says, really? They restricted you? Yes. So what's happened, Chuck, is because I went to battle with the paranormal community for respect for this sign above my head, a lot of them are making slight-handed posts geared at people like me that they don't like. All right. And so what happens is every time I try to share our group in a different way the past few months, so many of them have silently, instead of coming to us saying, hey, we don't want you to tag us, what they started doing is being immature and go, well, this person's bugging me. This person's bugging me with their posts. And so over on social media, it's all immaturity all the time, all day long. I don't have the patience for that anymore. And so that's why after this restriction, all right, it's very clear that Meta is going to restructure for any word that's going to go against its collective narrative. All right. So people like us are, to them, and this is what they're saying to me, is I am upsetting high traffickers. That's why I'm being restricted. Because what I'm doing is going against other narratives. Very obviously. All right. So what happens? This, right? This. And this again. All right. I went from paranormal witchcraft to trying using my name and now trying YouTube a few weeks ago. And immediately that's what they gave me. All right. I've already threatened to sue the company, all the whole 9 yards over there. All right. It's very clear that that billionaire does not have the balls to do what he needs to do to that platform. Instead, he's going to act like everybody else in the world and keep feeding himself. All right. So I encourage all my friends over there, like Chuck, who don't really look at social media. You're not missing nothing. All right. So tonight's laboratory experiment question is simple. Are investigators accidentally triggering their own evidence? We feel like they might be sometimes. I've done it, all right, until I figured out I was doing stuff wrong, all right. But what we're seeing right now is a lot of fear narrative being driven, and it's being called demonic. It's being called dark. It's being called a mimic. Okay. Are investigators accidentally or are investigators purposely triggering their own evidence? All right. So let's introduce the device you see behind us. It is a REM pod. I'm going to use a different one today that's a little higher tuned. Going to turn it on. All right. We're going to set it right here where you guys can see it. Okay. This used to light up. I don't know why it doesn't anymore. Let me put a deck under it so you guys can see what's going on. Now you can see what's going on. All right. Now we can talk about the REM pod. I can turn this on, get it ready. We're about to start our first experiment. This is a REM pod. REM pods pick up electromagnetic fluctuations. All right. It detects electromagnetic disturbances, whether it be me bumping into it or a demon. Makes sense, right? Just because I can't see it if it's here, if it goes near that, that thing will tell us. When that field changes, I want you guys to pay attention. Tonight we're running a paranormal investigation experiment asking why so many investigators rely so heavily on every device they own. If you look at a lot of the podcasts and contents being created around us, whether it's here on YouTube or on a different platform, what do you see? Even if it's Discord or other, you'll see a lot of that thumbnail. You'll see a lot of taglines like I'm doing that are meant to get people hooked. Okay. But beyond that, I don't use any psychological hooking just for the titles. All right. Because we're growing. Once we have a few more audience members and we break past 1,000 subscriptions, I don't need to use a psychological hook anymore. Okay. I say that because I want you guys to understand there's so many people out there doing this on purpose. And there's so many others that are just getting into the paranormal that are feeding these people hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And then they're going to events. And if these are investigators that are escalating on purpose because they know it's going to get sales and it's going to fill their investigations, there's a huge risk of being attached, especially by the ones they're chasing. You're asking to be attacked. Do you realize that? You're asking a demon to attack you. That worries people like me. Really does. Being a solitary eclectic practicing, I don't find it funny in the least bit. I certainly don't call it paranormal investigating either. When I see those, I can't watch that. I cannot watch podcasters that do that. Some of those most popular people are on TV and they refuse to go away. Those are the people that started this mess. It is up to people like us at Paranormal Witchcraft to try really hard to educate the masses. That it's great to get that kind of documentation. It's great to get that kind of escalation. But to purport it before it actually happens is kind of like it's a form of purposely, it's a fraud tactic. There's no other way to put it. I was trying so hard to find a better word. I can't. It's a fraud tactic. You're drawing people in to dupe them into something that may or may not be actually happening. I have a problem with that. All right. But again, we're not here to debate that. All right. Just because I have a problem with it doesn't mean somebody else doesn't. All right. It just is what it is. So, that being said, we're going to turn this thing on. No, it is on. We're going to turn the lights off. We have the flashlight on. We're going to leave it on my face. And then we're going to run this first experiment. All right. So let's pay close attention to the REM pod. You see that? You watch it. If you see that light move, I want you guys to tell me it moved. We place the REM pod in the room. We're observing quietly now. I'm going to open the circle as soon as it prompts me to. Watch the device closely. Remember something I've been saying for a few weeks to a few months now. Watch the pattern. We're not going to use any provocation. We're not going to raise our emotional or our energy at all. We're going to sit here quietly and observe. All right, remember, keep your eyes on that. If there is anybody here with us, or if there is anything within this dwelling, we are here to communicate. We are not here to antagonize. We are not here to intimidate, and we are not here to attack you if you are here. You do not have to cooperate, but we would be grateful if you would communicate. We're now opening the circle, and we are going to sit here for a few minutes and allow you to communicate with us in any way you see fit. We're not going to use any provocation. Okay. I'm watching that very intently as I talk to you guys. Notice I'm not using any emotional escalation in my voice, in my language. I'm slow. I'm calm. I'm steady. I'm going to ask you nicely again. Perhaps you didn't hear us, or perhaps you really aren't interested, but we're just going to ask nicely one more time. If there's something here and something that wishes to communicate, please give us a sign. Okay. That being said, we thank you so much for your time. We're going to shut this off. We are now closing this experiment, this communication circle. We do not require, we do not need any further action on your part. Thank you so much. Now you come over here, turn it off. Let's turn it back on. All right. Let's do a safety check. All right. I didn't even touch it. I want you guys to see how close my hand gets. All right. Not even touching it. Probably about this far away. All right. So about 2 inches away. All right. So we know it's working properly still. That's always good to pause and do that environmental check or reset, whichever way you prefer to call it. And now we're going to get a little bit mean. All right. Now we're going to do the escalation experiment. And by doing so, we're going to change our personal energy levels. We're going to change our emotional level. And by doing so, we're going to affect the environment. We're going to use movement. We're going to use aggressive questioning. We're going to use aggressive investigator interaction. If the REM pod triggers during an escalation, then we know that we have to ask a difficult question. Are investigators influencing the results? All right, let's find out. So we're going to open this circle now. We know something's here. We know you're here. All right. We aren't leaving until you show us something. We're not afraid of you. See that REM pod right there? We don't believe you can touch it. What are you waiting for? Cat got your tongue? Are you afraid of us? You have nothing to say? I don't believe you. You see how we're trying to antagonize? We're trying to goad? Okay. Not working, is it? No. All right. Remember the pattern. Remember the question. Think about what's happening. Think about what's going through your mind right now. Are you expecting something to happen too at every turn, at every second? Are you guys intently watching this thing in expectance, or are you observing quietly? Watch closely. Notice the patterns every experiment that we've run. Something interesting just happened. Think about that. One trigger does not equal paranormal evidence. All right. With that being said, since you don't want to talk to us, we're just going to shut this down. So you better not do anything. Goodbye. Now, is that any way to behave to spirits? Is that any way to behave towards anybody? No. Hold on a second. Let me turn the big light back on. It's not. There we go. Really? Sorry about that. So let's talk about it. Watch closely. Did you watch closely? Did you notice the pattern? All right. If you did, type yes. Awesome. I didn't know you had to leave, my love. I'm sorry. Welcome back. Yes. Very good. Chuck, that was the best thing I've ever said. I wish I could do something with that. But you guys had some great answers. So, Chuck, that was probably the best explanation you could say. Chuck Averett says the tools are fine. That's what I'm saying. All right. Chuck's reiterating what I'm trying to say here. The tools are great, man. They're great. I collect them too. You saw them last night. Teddy bears, strip lights, spasms. Okay. All the bells and whistles. But if you have them all going at once, you're chasing. It's like you're trying to set up snare after snare after snare after snare using EMFs, EVPs, cameras, laser grids. Like it looks like a booby trap scene. It looks like you're trying to hunt a prey. Demons aren't something to hunt like that. I don't know if people have realized that or not, but they kind of mess with you when you do that. Just saying. Okay. And if you haven't experienced a true demonic haunting investigation, you really probably don't want to. So, again, over the next 7 days, I'll encourage all the viewers to go around YouTube and the internet and look at all the paranormal investigators you can find that are labeling stuff demonic or labeling stuff dark or have a thumbnail where they look like they're crapping their pants every day. Come back in a week. Tell us what you think. All right. I think you might have a little more in common with us than you think. Okay. Think about that. I mean, who are they fooling? You or us? Or themselves? Possibly as a third answer. Containment always over the escalation, guys. I know it's boring. I know it's too much like fishing, but you'll get credible, validated evidence if you stop performing. You'll get validated, credible evidence if you stop pulling out everything you own. You're confusing the environment, is what you're really doing. And you're probably pissing off demonic spirits if you are trying to chase them with all your bells and whistles. All right, just something to think about. Okay? The evidence before ego. All right, tomorrow morning at 11 a.m., we'll talk about yet another theory where we can use containment over chaos, evidence over egos, and then at 8 o'clock again, we'll do paranormal laboratory experiments like we just did using a different device. I find it fair that if we use a device for 2 days in a row, all right, and then we switch it up, it shows people that we have more than one device. All right. It also shows people that they can use more than one or two different types of devices to do the same type of experimentation if they want for their own investigation teams. Do whatever you want with this knowledge. It's free knowledge. So tonight we weren't just investigating the paranormal. With these experiments, we were investigating investigation itself. Because there seems to be a culture where everybody is reliant on every single device they have. A lot of times, all I use, especially in collaborating, like why am I going to pull out all my equipment when Blue Mountain Paranormal has all their own equipment? Wouldn't it just be more efficient if one team or the other who's already setting up does that? That way the environment can stay as clean as possible. Oops, sorry. I did not notice that. Sorry, YouTube. I did not notice that the whole time. I'm sorry. That was an honest mistake on my part for being a little lackadaisy. But a lot of times this is all I hunt with, guys. Because like Chris said, all these things are cool. You know, they're expensive. All right. But there are times when I just look and go, you know what? It's too much work to get all that shit out. I'm the best tool I'll ever have. I'm a psychic. I'm intuitive. I'm pretty good at picking up energies around me. I don't really feel the need to pull out a REM pod sometimes. I don't really feel the need to pull out the phasm. I don't really feel the need to sometimes. My ears, my phone, and my eyes. For me, it's enough of an investigative experience because that's why. Because I can go off into the dark on my own with this recording in my back pocket. My hands are free. I'm not weighted down. And I can focus on what I'm doing. Sensing. We're the best sensing devices there are. Why are we spending $500 on REMs that you're shoving up a teddy bear's ass? It makes no sense, guys. You're the best tool you'll ever have. It's the truth. I want you guys to think about that. So with that being said, thank you for tuning into our experiments once again. I am Tobias Josephson. We are Paranormal Witchcraft. Okay. And as always, that was fun. Nothing like a little investigation just after sunset. So that leads me to the announcement part of the live stream tonight. Obviously, you've seen some posts. I find it hilarious that I'm restricted, but I can share from every other platform. I can't really talk a lot, but I can still share. But that being said, I will be taking a mental health and energy reset break. I think I've already said it at the beginning of this podcast, but I'm going to repeat it just in case you have just tuned in. Okay. So if you've just tuned in, what you've witnessed tonight is we are doing paranormal investigation experiments on this channel at 8 p.m. So welcome and thank you for tuning in. But that being said, I will be taking a 7-day break closer to Ostara and Easter, where I won't be doing any of these lives at all. It does two beneficial and positive things for the channel and some other things. One, I can reset myself. I can spend a week writing the book I've barely started. Okay. Two, all right, I don't have to get up here 2 or 3 times a day. Right? If it's a Thursday, this is my third podcast. All right. And in between all that, I'm on this computer, I'm taking phone calls, I'm doing business shit. And so I have to take time for myself eventually, or my services, I'm going to fall flat on my face again. And that's not something I'm willing to let happen. Okay. This is a 501c hybrid business, which means I pay taxes on that. Okay. Yeah, it's cool, but now it's real. Okay. So the collaborations you're seeing on Facebook are real. Okay, those are no bullshit. Those are serious. That's why you don't see me in the groups fucking with people, because most people are just fucking around on social media. I am not fucking around. Paranormal Witchcraft LLC is not here to fuck around. Okay, so just so people know. And because I'm being restricted, that's another motivation just to get the F off of social media. All right. So that being said, I hope you guys can support us. Now, I will be engaging in groups. I'll be engaging with you guys on Paranormal Witchcraft. I'll be engaging in my home group during the day, chatting, looking at comments, doing the other responsibilities. But I need a week long where I can reset all my energies. I can let this algorithm do what it's going to do, etc., etc. And that'll give me time to do the personal things I want to do for the business, which is write a book, which is work on our events that we have coming up. I have a LARP that I'm attending for the first time ever. I barely know anything about LARPs. Okay. So I have to schedule a time where I can be selfish. I don't think enough people out there realize how much work goes into this type of setup. It seems like a hobby, right? But it's really not. All right. That's why I went and switched all the tiles. I switched all the profile pictures because I'm psychically attuned to people on Facebook that are just seeing us as it's all ego. Because we're using AI graphics to get their attention, they're not smart enough to make the differentiation, because they're just scrolling. They're not using their logic. Okay. So it's very important that we are seen in a different light every single day, twice a day, 3 times a day on Thursdays with the Patreon. We're going to do this every single day. This is who we are. This is what we do. We aren't like everybody else. Okay. We may look like it, but again, it goes back to the adage, when you judge a book by its cover and you make an assumption, you're assuming, which makes an ass of you and it makes an ass of us. So if you want to know who we are, follow us. If you want to know more about us, join the membership live on Thursdays, 2 p.m. on Patreon. We just need your email. All right. And then you can talk to me and other members face to face in a laid back setting. We can ask each other personal questions. Where are you from? Where'd you grow up? What are you into? How did you find our group? What would you like to see? Here's what we're doing in the future. All for $1. Only because it made me choose how much to charge. I don't want to charge anything. So I've opened that up to even free people can see that podcast. All right. So that's kind of what's going on. And if you're new here, thank you. This is what you're seeing. You're just walking into the room going, what's going on? This is what's going on. All right. So thank you guys. I think these shorter ones are doing better than the longer ones, because let's face it, people don't have time to pay attention right now. They like the instant gratification. They want to know what's going on right away, etc. So I find the shorter run times are best. But Chuck, while you're here, I've got to show you this goddamn clock, man. This clock here, guys, I don't know what it is. In fact, let's put the REM pod by it and let's find out. take my cell phone away, put it back here. Let's just see. Oh my. I thought it was just resetting itself because I touched it. Maybe it just took a long time to reset. Maybe it didn't. So Chuck has a theory about this clock. I bought this clock at my local Goodwill. In fact, most of the stuff you're seeing in this office helped build this office. So there's something about this clock. You notice the time? You see how the time's off? I rewound that properly yesterday, and it's already ahead by 8 minutes again, or something like that. I forget what the exact minute is. But no matter how slow I turn the pendulum at the bottom, no matter if I wind it 12 hours forward to reset it or 12 hours backwards to reset it, fully winding it, it still does this every single time. And the batteries were changed. So Phil might be onto something here. There might be something attached or someone attached to this beautiful little grandfather clock. I actually love this thing. I don't know what it is, but it's actually one of the things that, well, like when I'm thinking hardcore, like out there and I'm just spacing off, it's one of the things like when I'm thinking, it's always something I'm hearing in the back of my head is. Not sure what it is about the clock though, but I think Chuck might be onto something. All right, guys. So that being said, I hope you guys had fun today. I hope this was a nice little experiment series for you guys. Remember, the title was this morning, why are so many people so codependent on all of their devices? And it was a great question to ask. All right. Great comments, guys. Please remember, every time somebody hits a thumbs up at the top of this screen, it does help the channel grow. Every time you guys comment, whether you're yelling at us or not, it helps the channel grow. So thank you. I'm going to take some Q&A and read some comments. I know you guys miss me. I'm working my way back there, Chuck. Nice to see you again, Truth Tarot Readings. Chuck Avarat, really? They restricted me for using YouTube because I upset the high traffickers. Every time I've been restricted, that's what it's for. And it always seems to be when I'm close to working with mainstream paranormal or when I'm close to working with someone in mainstream pagan community, I always get restricted. So I think I have some jealous people around me, and I think that's probably more or less what's really going on over there. So again, why we've moved here. All right, we've done it in silence, Chuck. I know you guys miss me on there. I'm still working on forgiving people for slapping us publicly in their other groups. You don't know about that, and you never heard it. But yeah, okay. So there's been people in that group who aren't being very friendly, and that is why the no gatekeeping was made in the Brotherhood. All right, because they're trying to piss me off on purpose. Not going to let it happen anymore. Okay. So, my friends, let's take some bottom end comments. Let's see what you got. Love it. Blessings. Truth Tarot says right. Chuck Avarat says that's the truth. And Chuck's right. By the way, Chuck, I like your post on bladesmithing. You are correct. I like that. Now, that's something I've never had a chance to get into is the bladesmithing, but it's always been on my bucket list. Glass blowing, that's another thing I want to try. But we'll see. Rock climbing, yeah, I'm a little nuts, but, they're bucket list items for a reason because once I'm gone, there's no do-overs, right? And so we'll see if I become brave enough to tackle those in the future. But let's go over this morning, and since there was nothing there, or maybe there was something there, I'm not sure how to interpret what just happened. Interesting, we'll call it that. So, that being said, thank you guys for tuning into yet another live. We have 3 full-time audience members, which is better than the 1 that we had a few weeks ago. So, remember, we're on a 5-year path here. Our foundation is very important to us here as far as the business goes at Paranormal Witchcraft LLC. Okay, we're looking for probably 1 or 2 more working relationships. I've already made too many posts about offering myself up for interviews for other podcasters, and there's just a great deal of condemning and stuff going on in social media. And so I have no doubt that probably later in the year I'll get tapped from a few people, but I think a lot of it is people don't even realize we're here. I think people just think I've just gone silent on social media, and I'm not. This is where I've been. So that's just kind of how I roll. Good night, my friends. Yes, I love the clock too, Chuck. Thank you for tuning in. Truth Tarot Readings, thank you again for tuning in. We will see you guys tomorrow at 11. And remember, this is Paranormal Witchcraft LLC, and this is where we, as a team, as a business, we approach the paranormal differently, which means we ask the hard questions. We do understand that our framework will not be for everybody. In fact, most people won't agree at all. That's okay too. So that being said, I'm going to shut this down at 45 minutes even. So let's see if we can do that. I don't think you guys can see that the candle's burning. And while I have a few minutes, let's do a little bit of tarot for you guys on the way out. Since I screwed up and deleted our Patreon, 3 people saw it, which I know Chris is one of them, and the other 2 could be Harry and Sally from Timbuktu. So now that I know that if it says post, it means it's going to post to Patreon, etc., etc. So, anyways, that being said, let's pull a couple cards for you guys. Just going to go completely off my intuition. There it is. Next. One more, please. Thank you. Let's see what we got, guys. This is for entertainment purposes only. I am not a professional reader, even though I may carry the capacity or the skill set to be one. Please remember what you hear here, take it for entertainment purposes only. If you resonate with something, please leave the rest for somebody else. We have the Knave of Swords, which is also called the Knight of Swords, showing up. All right, making sure people know your boundaries. They know what your business, your thing is about. You're making sure people understand. All right. In a few other decks that I have, sometimes the Knight of Swords can be a flaming sword, even. All right. Like a flaming sword in the night. All right. And we are experimenting here at night at Paranormal Witchcraft. So I think we're tuning into ourselves. Kind of makes sense, huh? So, Truth Tarot Readings, Chuck Avarat, Chris Stantz Investigations, and Tobias Josephson are here in the room. Tell us what's next with the moon. The moon is the card that is hiding something. Sometimes it's hiding a secret. Sometimes it's hiding something that you're not ready to reveal. Sometimes it's even guarding something from being seen, possibly because you don't want people to know it, or because it's something you're going to share with the world and it's not ready yet. Okay. Whichever side you're on, all right, you're keeping it closely guarded. All right. I feel this in my headspace. So somebody has this closely guarded. It's very important to them. They want to make sure people understand. Okay. We leave with the Two of Cups. This morning, or earlier on Patreon, before I deleted it, we ended up on the Three of Cups first, which was talking about collaborations, reunions, reconciliations, possible collaborations or networking, etc. Tonight we end with the Two of Cups. This could be talking about having two choices. It could be talking about having to make a choice over another. It could be two thoughts. It could be two different feelings. It could be two different opportunities. One could be good for you. One could be bad for you. One could be good for right now. One could be needing to wait. Maybe it's not mature enough yet. All right. I feel like this is truly something you guys each are working on. I don't know if it's Chuck. I don't know if it's Chris. I'm not going to say it's me because the universe sees me busting my ass. So it's not me. It's one of you three in the crowd. One of you are going to be facing a double choice, and they're both as lucrative to you, and they're both as important to you. It's going to be important that you use your logic over emotions to make sure you make the right choice for your highest good. I was trying to listen to the noise. I think everybody here knows what that means. So that being said, I ran over. That's okay. I'm going to get off here and do a little R&R. All right. I'm going to go ahead and set up 11 a.m. and set up 8 p.m. experiment. We'll be using a different device. So I will pick from what I have in this bag, and I don't actually remember what I have in here offhand. So we have us, our laser grid, or better yet, why don't I ask you guys what you would like me to use? You want to use the laser grid? Do we want to use the S box? Do we want to use a Rook EMF detector tomorrow? Do you want to use another REM pod tomorrow? You guys take your pick. Or strip light. We have strip lights. All right. I don't know if I can pull this back for you guys to see. Now, let's shorten it up. Let's try this. So you guys can see it all. So it's got another 2 feet I'm holding. So this is, I'm 5'3", so this is easily 5 feet across. So nonetheless, if you guys saw something I just pulled up into the screen and you think I should use it tomorrow, type EMF in the comments if you want to use an EMF device. Type the S box if you want me to gear tomorrow's experiments around the S box. All right. Or even Phasm camera if I can get it charged. That one might be off the table because the Phasm camera uses hella battery, and that's one of its drawbacks. It's a fancy little high-tech little paranormal investigation device, highly attuned, but it takes forever to charge. So I can't guarantee that one as an option. All right. If there is no options, I will let the technology app decide for me by taking a picture of each one and feeding it. All right. I like it better that way. That way I'm not choosing. That way you guys get to choose. And that way you guys are more inclined to return tomorrow. What is an S box? Really going to make me run over today. Might as well. Well, once I figure out where I put it in the bag, let's see if it has some juice, Chris, and I'll show you. So what this does is it picks up frequencies through radio waves. Now, I know a lot of people use these, like Matt has a function device that attaches to this and helps clear up some of the distortion that this will produce. But another trick, if you don't have money available to do it, Matt did, buy the device that goes with this, right? That helps people like you guys will be able to hear clearer instead of the all right. And I forget what it's called. Another hack you can do is just take off the antenna. So what I did is I just removed the antenna that was on here, and it helps clean up some of the distortion. No? So right now it's going through every channel it can pick up. All right. So you can see how much distortion you get. And the idea is the bits of communication you get, there's messages, etc. All right. Let me put it back in its case. Remember the S5, put it away where you got it. Because when you show up at a ghost event, when you don't have yourself set up, nothing will piss you off more. If you haven't set yourself up before a big trip or before your first investigation, even if you only have 2 or 3 items to bring with you, you will have yourself a very bad day. There you go. I always try to keep things neat, and tidy, organized. That's what I love about this shoe bin bench I'm sitting on. A lot of times the cattle sprawl out on here because he's so large. I don't think he'll let me show you, but I'll try to hold him for a second before we leave. Oh, you're such a sleepy boy. Yeah. Hi. Yeah, I know it's bright. I'm sorry. So this is Little Spooks. Let me turn the light so we don't kill the cat. All right, there we go. So here's Little Spook Butt. Let's see if I can get him to sit down. Hey, there you go. Can you see? You say hi? You say hi to everybody. So this is Sir Spooks. He is one of our mascots, and he is our little social butterfly. So if you come over to our house, this is the first guy that greets you. Mr. Spook says hi to everybody. All right. I'll let him go now. He's getting irritated because I just woke him up. And my little guy, he's probably going to sit on my ghost bag here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what he's going to do. He's thinking about sitting on it. Nope. He's going to run away because he's mad at me for waking him up. But that is one of our mascots. The other one is Shadow. And Shadow really doesn't like to be put on camera. But as you saw, Spooks will tolerate it. Now, our goal is eventually these kitties will come with us to our paranormal investigation events and travel the road with us, etc., etc. But because we've had to take them to the vet a couple times, it's been a no-go this year. So as soon as the weather stays warm consistently, I'm going to start taking them outside, start taking them for car rides again around the block. And we use those wet, squeezy treats. That's a really good treat to reward your cats. So that way, when they're done freaking out, you reward them. And eventually, they slowly learn that every trip isn't a trip to the vet. But you can't blame them for thinking that. Okay. So that being said, guys, I've ran way, way, way too long today. But thank you, all three of you, for tuning in. Thank you to whoever keeps putting the thumbs up. You are helping us grow. So we will see you tomorrow with a brand new topic theory. All right. Containment over chaos. evidence over egos. We are paranormal witchcraft, and this is where we approach the paranormal field differently. Have yourselves a great evening. Blessings and blessed be Tobias out.